BMW. For people who love driving and don't see it as a mere mechanism to get from point A to point B, these three letters mean a lot. For over a century, BMW has been the gold standard of automobile engineering, delivering world-class driving experiences to car enthusiasts. We emphasize the term car enthusiasts because just like Leica cameras are designed specifically for professional photographers and high-end musical instruments are custom-made for professional musicians, BMW vehicles are made for connoisseurs of driving. BMW cars are special, unique, and, as the market suggests, worth way more money than the mass-manufactured cars that populate the streets today. However, BMW hasn't always been a world leader in selling cars. In fact, the company has come close to shutting down many times. From multiple world wars to close encounters with bankruptcy to the most brutal dictatorship the world has ever seen, BMW's path to the legendary status it holds today has been riddled with incredible roadblocks. In this video, we'll explore how BMW has driven past these roadblocks to become the beloved automaker it is today. So, put your seatbelt on because we're taking a trip to the heartlands of Bavaria. Bayerische Motor & Werk, which is German for Bavarian Motor Works, is a German automobile manufacturing company that was officially founded on March 7, 1916. We say officially because that's the formally recognized launch date. The real history of BMW as a car company started in 1896 at a factory in Eisenach, a small town in central Germany. That's where Heinrich Ehrhardt, a talented aerospace engineer, first registered the Eisenach Vehicle Factory, or EVF. Ehrhardt recognized the potential of the automobile industry and decided to start his own company. His first products were bicycles, motorcycles, a few electric cars, and a few cars with gas-powered internal combustion engines that were designed for both military and civilian use. Unfortunately, none of these products were successful, especially in the civilian sector, and Ehrhardt had to sell the company to a group of investors in 1903. The new owners of EVF decided to focus on the production of the Dixi, a small, light car that was powered by a two-cylinder, 8-horsepower engine. This car wasn't designed by BMW. Its design was based on the Austin 7, a British car. EVF's new owners simply bought the Austin license. However, since its introduction in 1904, the Dixi was a huge hit among both civilians and government agencies. The car was smooth, easy to drive, and maxed out at 25 miles per hour. The Dixi helped to establish EVF as a notable car manufacturer. Pretty soon, newer models of the Dixi were released and all of them were successful. These two-seater cars were being used as ambulances, touring cars, postal vehicles, and even sports cars. But when World War I officially broke out in 1914, all auto production in Germany had to be halted. The EVF factory in Eisenach was taken over by the German government for military production. The licensing of Austin 7's Dixi was critical for EVF's post-World War I fate. After auto production recommended in Germany in 1919, the two pre-war Dixi models were the company's only major sources of revenue. To the masses, EVF was known as the Dixi Werk, German for the Dixi Company. However, this licensing deal wasn't enough to preserve EVF's status as a profitable automaker. In 1928, EVF was sold to former aero engine manufacturer Bayerische Motor & Werk. Bayerische Motor Werk was formerly known as Bayerische Flugzeugwerk, which translates to Bavarian Airplane Works. This company was founded by Karl Rapp, and it has its own interesting history, which is central to the BMW story. In Munich, far away from Eisenach, Karl Rapp, a young German aircraft engineer, had started an aircraft engine manufacturing company called Rapp Motor & Work in 1913. Despite the high demand for airplanes in this period, his company had struggled to sell high volumes of aircraft engines. Thankfully, in 1916, the Prussian army ordered 600 engines from RMW, saving the firm from bankruptcy. Rapp then teamed up with investors Franz Josef Popp and Camillo Castiglione to officially form Bayerische Flugzeugwerk, BFW. This joy wouldn't last long because, after World War I, all German companies were prohibited from manufacturing aircraft engines. So, in March 1916, Bayerische Flugzeugwerk turned to manufacturing motorcycles and, on Popp's suggestion, changed its name to Bayerische Motor & Work. Thus, the iconic brand name BMW was born on March 7, 1916, the date that BMW recognizes as its founding year. Between 1917 and 1928, BMW had many successes, namely in motorcycle manufacturing. The company produced its first motorcycle, the BMW R32, a two-cylinder 500cc motorcycle designed by BMW's lead engineer Max Friz. This motorcycle was uber popular, and it helped establish BMW as a key player in the German motorcycle industry. However, it was the 1928 acquisition of EVF that would change BMW's fate forever. With the acquisition of EVF and the Dixi license in 1928, BMW started selling the beloved British car. They renamed the car to BMW 3x15. BMW also relocated its production facility from Eisenach to the esteemed Oberweisenfeld Army Airfield near Munich at this time. In 1933, the 3x15 gave way to the BMW 3x20 in 1933, the first car to don the iconic blue, white, and black BMW propeller roundel logo on its grille. The 3x20 was also the first in-house BMW design created by Max Friz. But after this successful launch, BMW's fate would take a twist again. On the 30th of January 1933, Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party came to power and quickly took over the reins of the German automobile sector. BMW's CEO Franz Josef Popp and chief engineer Max Friz weren't keen supporters of Nazism, but like many industrialists of the time, it was better for them to get along with Hitler and keep their factories running. So, that's exactly what they did. This controversial strategy proved to be quite successful for BMW. The company reinstated its aero engine manufacturing wing and was profiting greatly from the sale of water-cooled aircraft engines to the Luftwaffe. BMW's automobile wing also grew rapidly during this period. Throughout the 30s, the company introduced multiple new models, including the 326, 327, and the 328. These cars helped establish BMW's reputation as a world-leading luxury and sports car manufacturer. In 1939, the Nazi regime banned BMW from producing automobiles and strictly limited its production of motorcycles. BMW was unwillingly transformed from a motor company to an armaments manufacturing firm. The firm was compelled to produce large numbers of high-performance engines for Nazi fighter planes, which it did with roaring success. In 1940, BMW released the infamous Focke-Wulf FW-190, a single-seat, single-engine fighter aircraft. This aircraft gave the Germans air superiority over the British. But behind this success was a dark secret. Like many German companies of that era, BMW employed thousands of slave laborers to meet the high demand for aero engines. These laborers were kept in concentration camps and most of them perished when the Allies started bombing Germany. In 1944, the Allied forces dropped over 12,000 bombs on BMW's Munich factory. This factory was central to the German war effort, and these bombings weren't unexpected. The Munich factory would later be rebuilt, but the same can't be said about the original BMW factory in Eisenach. The same year, the Eisenach factory was annihilated by bombs. By the end of World War II, BMW's fate was hanging by a thin thread. In 1945, after the Allies won the war, they banned BMW from producing both aircraft and motor vehicles. To survive, BMW had to return to manufacturing motorcycles and bicycles using surplus military parts. The ban on car production was due to be lifted in 1952, and during this 7-year waiting period, the company was mustering up all of its resources for a grand relaunch. Their plan for revival? The BMW 501, a luxury sedan that was designed to be a rival to the Mercedes-Benz 220, the most popular post-war car in Germany. The BMW 501 was released in 1952 and, to the company's dismay, was an immediate failure. The car was expensive, prone to overheating, and unsuitable for the war-ravaged German society. But it did pave the way for the BMW 502, the car that would prove to be BMW's saving grace. The BMW 502 was released in 1954, and this time, things were different. The 502 had a powerful engine and a luxurious interior, and it was more affordable than the 501. Hence, it was an instant hit. BMW also did a great job of marketing the 502, so much so that the car found its takers in the United States. The BMW 502 was exported to the United States in 1955, becoming the first BMW car to reach American shores. Despite the hefty price tag of $7,495, the 502 was a huge hit among the American elite. BMW's resurgence as a player in the global luxury car market had officially begun. The release of the BMW 502 kickstarted a golden era for BMW that some would argue is still going on to this day. In 1956, BMW introduced the 507, a luxurious sports car that rivaled the Mercedes-Benz SL in terms of performance. In 1962, BMW launched the 1500, a new class of relatively affordable sedans which was massively successful. Following the mass success of the 1500, BMW launched the 7 Series in 1977. This larger and more luxurious sedan was again a huge success in both Europe and North America. In 1978, BMW released the M1, the world's first sports car with a mid-engine. The M1 was a success amongst the masses and on the racetracks. It established BMW's famous M division, which still produces high-performance cars today. In 1989, they launched the Z1, a sleek roadster with folding doors. This unique feature was loved by critics, and it revived BMW's image as an innovator in the automobile sector. BMW's status as a leading luxury car maker is as strong as ever in the 21st century. This status was further reinforced with the launch of the BMW i3 in 2013. This was the world's first mass-produced electric car from a major luxury automaker, and it solidified BMW's position as a key player in the electric car market of the future. The company sold over 2.3 million cars last year, 2022, and it continues to be one of the best car brands of all time. BMW's journey to this legendary status wasn't smooth or free of controversies. But The undeniable fact is that you'll find true passion for automobile engineering in almost every chapter of BMW's 100-plus year history. And that's all for this video. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please share your thoughts on BMW in the comments and hit the subscribe button as well. We'll see you in the next one.